You've heard our live recording from our recent trip.
So, of course, I want to talk about it much more and much more in depth.
This is episode 527 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast. Goodness gracious, 527 seems like a very big number.
I've just mouthed that to Lee.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
Mental. Oh, we'll do 12 episodes.
Goodness. All right. I'm Michelle, your host for today. And with me, I have Lee.
Hello, everyone.
Tracy.
Hello, everyone.
And Christopher is not here today. So in his place, we have the more lovely, more beautiful Jillian Dunn.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yes.
I needed someone on the show to replace Chris that was kind of privy to some of our trip. And I know who still... We haven't talked. Kept pestering me. Have you ridden Velocicoaster yet? Have you ridden Velocicoaster yet? And the amount of messages that we got, have you ridden it yet? And I'm like, no, we haven't ridden it.
It got embarrassing.
Because it wasn't until about day 6, I think, that we rode it.
God, you took forever, man.
Yes, I know.
It was just circumstances.
I don't really know why, to be fair.
I mean, that should have been like priority number one.
Well,
I don't know how you did it. I would have ran there instantly.
So we're not going to do this day by day, but I will tell you the reason. The plan always was to do it on our first night, and I kind of alluded to this on our live episode. Getting our annual passes unfrozen was a nightmare.
That's putting it mildly.
Remember to bleep that out, Lee, right? It was a nightmare. It took us an hour and a half and getting passed from every guest services we could find before we actually got them done. So at that point, everyone was starving. So we ran over to Hot Dog Hall of Fame, and by the time we'd finished eating, it was about 8:45, and Islands closed at 9:00.
Yeah.
So we ran into Islands, we did Spider-Man, we did Kong, and then everything was pretty shut at that point. We did actually walk down because Alexa was like, if it's open, shall we ride it now? And I'm like, I'm not feeling 100%. I don't think it would be a good idea at this. No, I wasn't ill. I just it may just push me over the edge. So it was closed anyway, so we didn't.
Yeah.
And then I don't really know after that why it never happened. But there's a fun story for when it did happen.
Well, we weren't always in Ireland for a start.
No. Again,
but 6 days. Come on now.
I know. Trust me. I felt like I was pushing back against people at one point. Like, I'm just not going to ride it now because you want me to.
Wow.
Lord, the truth comes out.
I think we actually spent more time in studios this trip than we did in Ireland.
We always do, to be fair.
Which is crazy because
for the longest time that we spend more time in studios than we do in islands. I think we spent more time in islands this time than we have done on previous trips. Like the last couple, at least.
That's crazy for our favourite park.
It is, because I feel like I've spent almost zero time in studios, especially since Mummy's been closed. It has had a surprising impact on the amount of time I want to spend in studios. So I've been spending almost exclusively time in islands for the past year.
Yeah.
Oh, studios is my family's favorite.
See, we didn't even get on the Mummy. It just never happened. It was down. It was still up and down because of technical rehearsal. And when it was up, it was like massive long waits. The kids did it. They did it the night we did our RIP tour because they had express pass for it. So they got to go on it. But we never managed to sort of work it where it was a low enough wait that we were prepared to stand in line for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but we're back soon, so we can rectify all of that.
8 weeks. 8 weeks is this going out. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy saying that.
That is crazy. Well, I was telling Alexa that I think that guest services is particularly ornery this time of year because I was having my own issues with guest services.
Oh, no.
It's something about HHN.
No. See, guest services were great. It was the fact that none of them could deal with our issue.
Which wasn't really an issue.
And then I kind of got kicked over to Islands of Adventure, and there was one, I was just telling Michelle off air there was one window open and about 7 groups of people in front of us.
However, when we did get to her, she was amazing.
Yes, shout out to Silver. I did give her a UO fist bump. She was fantastic because, as I said, when I got up to that window, I was ready to tear somebody's head off.
Yeah.
And she was fantastic.
She diffused that bomb.
She was so funny.
Good.
She was. She was.
I will say, I was going to leave this till the end, but I'll say right now, right? Because of who we are, I know a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not overly happy in what's going on behind the scenes at Universal. From speaking to people, from seeing things firsthand, I think they're getting a little bit too big for their boots with the people that are coming over from Disney. I don't like some of the decisions that are being made on the backside. That being said, front of house, every single team member we dealt with in our 8 days there were fantastic.
We tweeted so many fist bumps. Many fist bumps
good.
every time. And do you know what, people? I need to say this now before I forget. If you see somebody that deserves that pat on the back, do it immediately, because they get it immediately. We know, because when we were in Mythos, our server came out, was like, oh my God, thank you.
Literally 10 minutes later, yeah.
And I'm not saying do that so you get the gratitude, but you know they're going to get it. And it's good for them that you've done that while they're there.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference to people.
And it's so easy as well. You don't have to go to guest services to do it. Just tweet UO fist bump. Hashtag UO fish bump.
Fish bump.
Fish bump.
Fish bump.
Yeah,
that's in
and it's
landing.
not just Twitter. You can do it on Instagram as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, do it, people, because these front of house.
They were, every one of them.
So
I mean, I
hard.
will call out some very specific ones as we get through this.
Yes.
Excellent.
But everybody
People that we will
dealt
see
with
again
were fantastic.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, do you want to start by telling us about your stay at Dockside Inn?
Yes.
So,
Can I just start by saying all of those fees that we had? Oh my God, all of those fees that we had.
Gillian, have you stayed here before?
No, we were going to last year, and then, this little thing called COVID happened.
And I know Michelle has.
Or 2 years ago.
And Michelle's like a 1%er. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, all those fees, not a single one. Nothing
loved it.
like that
I
happened.
told you guys.
It wasn't noisy.
We had a weekend
it wasn't
where
in the room. Yeah, but
No,
that was a small child. That was a
upstairs.
parental problem,
But
not the child
overall,
problem. Who
you know?
lets their kid run around at 6 o'clock in the morning, like stamping like an elephant and dropping coins on the floor?
What was that all about? This is a problem because they're not carpeted. If you drop anything on the floor, the downstairs can hear it.
Yeah.
So
And we were horror nighting it as well, so we weren't getting much sleep.
the only issue that we really had with it was where we were. So I emailed them about a week
longest
before,
walk in the
right? So
world.
Michelle, when we talked about this when we did our episode before, that we were kind of trying to decide which floor to be on and where we wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of decided on floor 2. So I emailed them and go, is there any chance we can request a room on the second floor away from the elevators? And they were like, we can't guarantee anything, but we'll do our best. So we get there and they're like, oh yeah, we've put you in. So we were in Tower 1, floor 2, room 99. I don't know how aware of where things are you understand, but Michelle, you know where Pier 8 Market is?
Yes.
You know where Tower Block 1 is?
Yes.
So if you're coming away from the lobby through Pier 8, you go through like this little walkway that's got like wooden slats up at the side into Tower Block 1. So you turn right there and get in the elevators and you go up a floor and then you come out of there and you turn right and you walk right to the end of that corridor and then you turn left and you walk right to the end of that corridor. That's where we were.
It was.
they put you far away from the elevators.
There was not another room beyond us.
We were miles away from the.
And for somebody who's having mobility issues, I was very
that's the
grateful.
opposite of what I like.
I mean,
See, I would
didn't.
ask to be next to the elevator.
Me
Kidding me?
too. I'm like floor 1, close to the elevators, close to the lobby, please.
It was 2 miles to the bus.
It did feel like forever. Like,
I
I'm
struggled.
a heavy sleeper and a lazy person. I do not want to walk that far, especially after HHN
Jillian.
and a whole park day.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
we figured a
Yes.
quicker way to our hotel room getting off the buses. You could come round so not going through the lobby. If you turn, so go away from the lobby. There's like a door round the side. You go through like a hotel room key, lockable gate outside, leads you inside. Then you open that door and it takes you to basically
door.
just underneath where we were. So it wasn't so bad. But if you needed to go to the lobby or Pier 8 or anything like that, oh my God, it was a trek and a half.
Well, you know what? You got what you asked for.
Oh, I did. And I
It's
can't
true.
complain about that.
Yeah.
But,
However, opening that
Cabana Bay volcano towers are like that. If you're
No, I
staying at
guess
Cabana Bay and
we'll
you're taking the
find that.
buses,
in 8
Yeah.
weeks, I guess.
however, opening that door and walking into that suite was wow.
There's so
They're
much,
nice,
there's
huh?
so much bigger
Amazing.
than they look in that picture
Yeah.
you took, Michelle.
Yeah. I
was-
told you.
You know how fussy I am. I was very impressed. I would stay there again. Yeah. There you go.
We had effectively four adults in that room, and we had tons of space. It never felt like we were on top of each other. The kids had like the 2 beds in the main room. They were, other than Raymond snoring, they kept Jade awake all night because that kid snores like a freight train. And I am not exaggerating. They had their own, like, tons of space.
Yeah.
We had our own room with enough space around us. The bathroom was
adequate.
It was never really an issue.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were worried about there only being one bathroom for all of you.
It kind of worked out. I know there was a couple of times
when... There was 2 sinks, and if it came down to it, we used the kitchen sink as well for brushing teeth.
Yeah, it worked. It worked really well, to be honest.
It was just you and him going in the shower in the morning when I needed to go in. That was the only problem.
More than anything. But the
10 minutes in though, the place looked like it had exploded.
Oh yeah, because
that's how we unpack.
Well, Nicole had left us. She'd gone on a Walmart run for us, so I had a big box and a crate of water of stuff and of course she didn't just get us the stuff we asked for. Nicole, thank you so much for the stuff you give us. It's so cool. She'd won one of the Draculas off the Midway games in the studios and give us one of them. But yeah, like one of the reasons that we wanted to stay there was having that freedom of everyone being on their own transport. And I was explaining to you, Michelle, that Jade had some sensory issues during Halloween Horror Nights, and it meant she just quite happily took herself back off herself. Mm-hmm. She was happy on her own. Yeah. Off she went back to the hotel, had a shower, had to chill out away from us, and then like Tracy started to get a bit tired, so she'd go back.
You should grab a pizza on the way in. Great pizza.
Yeah, and me and Raymond stayed out and we get the bus back, whereas a family with a car, it's like you're either Ubering it or someone's having, like if we'd have stayed at Enclave, someone's having to take someone back or someone's having to stay out when they don't want to. That was never an issue. So people were just
really well for us.
It really did. And that was part of the reason that I changed from being where we were, and it worked perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's really no reason to stay off property now that we have the Endless Summer and Cabana Bay.
The only niggle I had was with the buses. We had a few days where there were missing buses.
It was that day when me and Raymond had gone into the parks and you'd been out with Chris, and then you trying to get back across to meet with us took about an hour.
Yeah, it was crazy. The buses just didn't come. And then when it turned up, there was like 3 bus worths of people stood waiting. And the amount how many times we go to get a bus and it was standing room only, and I couldn't do that.
They rammed those buses, mind.
Or when my hip and then my ankle, after spraying my ankle, when my hip was particularly bad, it was with the bloody Mia's coaches every time with the steps. And I was just like, oh, no, I just want to be able to just trundle on.
That's the big thing as well.
That was my only complaint.
I had a conversation with Chris about it. It's like we were talking about how long it takes to get to your hotel. And he's like, oh, no, the transfer time's like the same to the water taxi. And I'm like, it is obviously with Tracy with mobility issues. Yes, the transportation time being on the bus or the water taxi is the same, but the difference between it really made me appreciate being on the water taxi route because
it's probably 3/4 of a mile that walk.
Yeah, that's the difference. I was like, yeah, the transport's the same, but if you're staying at a Sapphire Falls or a Portofino or a Hard Rock or one of them, and you get on a water taxi, you're walking to City Walk, and then you're getting on and that's it. Whereas if you're staying at Endless Summer or Cabana Bay, you've got to walk right the way through City Walk, right the way up to the hub, down the stairs, along to the buses. Yeah. And then if you're just going back for an hour, there was a night when Tracy got soaked and she was miserable, so she went back to get changed and come back. That whole journey is way more than it is if you're on a water taxi route.
Yeah. But there was a night when I was really struggling. I was at afternoon and you said, why don't you go back and rest?
It was the Friday we met up with Connor. Yeah, not Friday, and it was Wednesday, Tuesday.
And it was me sitting there because I needed to rest up and get meds into my system. But I knew that doing that walk twice on top of everything else was just going to end up making things worse. So
that's the only downside. That was the only at all. And
it's not a major downside because 90% of people don't have mobility issues. I hope I don't next time. I have great appreciation for things that are in place now.
But even with just tired feet, that's an extra long way to have to go.
Yeah. I would stay there again in a heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely.
Jillian, I'm so glad to have you on this episode because they always make fun of me for not wanting to walk. I'm like, dude, I literally walked like 15 miles today. I don't need to walk back to the hotel.
Yeah, but the difference is we will. You won't.
No, I won't. There have been times after HHN that literally Audrey and I had to stop at every single bench we found.
Oh my God.
How old is she?
She's only about 22.
Her too. She has diabetes, so sometimes her feet have problems. Yeah. But literally last year, when we got back to Sapphire Falls off the water taxi, the first thing we did was take off our shoes and walked barefoot all the way back up to the room.
Oh, no. I mean, we were miserable. Those corridors stunk.
I'm a big fan of the barefoot walk of shame. I'm right there with you.
They're so mean to me, Jillian.
That's okay. I'm here. There's a lot of estrogen today, more than usual.
I know. Lee better watch out.
I've got more than the three of you put together.
I was going to say,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd stay there again.
Yeah.
Like,
and
obviously,
it's a beautiful hotel.
I'd much rather, like, again, having stayed there, I realised that the benefit of staying on those water taxi hotels is definitely there, but I wouldn't, if that was, like, say we wanted to stay on site and they weren't available and that was the only option, it wouldn't be like, oh, well, I guess I'll stay there. But like, oh, I'd be quite happy to stay there.
But you know what? The water taxis aren't a magic fix. There are more times than not, you have to wait a long time for those water taxis too.
Yeah,
and
but
it also depends where you are on the route as to whether that water taxi is already full.
There is, but there's also that benefit of not having to go through the main security hub, which to be fair,
like that. Well, yeah, actually, yeah.
To be fair,
was my big worry.
Really smoothly every day we went through it. It was never backed up.
Yeah, it's not so bad anymore.
Yeah, it was really good. I don't think it took us more than 5 minutes to get through security ever.
Just shouting out numbers and directing
really
it. It just moved so smoothly. And you know what? Normally you'll get somebody on security there who's grumpy and a bit of a pain in the arse, and they were all absolutely hilarious.
There was a guy.
Laugh
there was a guy kept saying, I can't remember what it was he was saying, but the same. I want your keys, wallets, and phone or cell phones. Yeah, and I'm like, how many times have you said that today? He said, dude, I counted it yesterday. It was 526.
Oh my God.
I was like, okay.
I'm that bored.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd stay there again without hesitation.
Well, Tracey, I have a very important question for you.
Uh-huh.
Did you or did you not walk across the highway to go to IHOP and get your bottle of coffee?
No, I didn't.
No, we didn't.
I am very,
you gotta
very
go back.
upset.
I know. That's it.
Yeah,
to be fair, I couldn't walk, so...
Oh.
We had breakfast at Pier 8 a couple of times, though.
Oh, Pier 8 breakfast. Yes. Honestly, I mean, on the last day, Jade was flagging, and I'd got to that point where I knew that my hip was just starting to hurt. I could have pushed it, but I knew with that long flight. So Jade and I opted to... We'd already checked out, so bags were in bag drop. So Jade and I just opted to go back and just...
Oh yeah, I remember the nice stayed in for an hour, didn't we?
We had an hour just in the lobby, and it was so nice because it was quiet, and I got to actually appreciate the hotel lobby and just loiter a bit. And
it is a really nice hotel.
And she went to sleep, so I went for a little walk around. And that hotel, I would like to have more time and just spend on property and explore it, because really nice. And I would like to go and like sample some of the. I didn't even get a bucket. I didn't get my damned bucket.
Wasn't my fault.
Because you didn't have any of us.
Didn't have time.
That's probably it, to be fair. I saw you forcing tequila shots on her.
Oh, yeah, definitely forced.
I broke Tracey's tequila cherry popped.
Yes.
Her tequila cherry.
Yes. You popped her tequila cherry.
Yes.
Spoiler alert for later in the podcast.
Yes.
It was delightful.
I fought so hard. Yeah.
But yeah, I love that hotel. Like Tracey said, any worries we had about it were completely allayed, and it was a great stay there. I liked it a lot. The only thing, we mentioned it, housekeeping comes around really early.
Oh my God!
Like we tried to have a lie in.
In the morning.
We like the first morning.
You got to put the sign on the door.
So the first morning we didn't realise that, so we didn't leave. So we got knocked up, and like, it's 8 o'clock. Bugger off.
Yeah. Wait, you got knocked up?
Hey. Yeah. Wait, what?
I thought you just got rid of your kids. Now you're having more.
Well, I told you he's got more estrogen than any of us.
Oh my goodness.
I guess knocked up means something different.
It means the same here.
It doesn't. Knocked up means you get knocked up out of bed. Not knocked up as in with
knocked
a baby.
Up in bed?
Shut up.
I mean, you can get knocked up anywhere, to be honest with you.
I mean, I couldn't because I can't carry a baby.
You've got 2 arms, haven't you?
I carried a baby. Actually.
I tried to steal her and I had to give her back.
I did carry a baby.
Oh, Lord, this is derailing. So let's talk about some food that you guys tried.
We like food.
Yeah, well, like I think we talked about it last week, didn't we? When we were talking about how expensive things were. So we did like our sort of the major restaurants we did. We did Mythos, Cowfish, Toothsome, and they're probably the three biggies. And I think Mythos with a tip cost us something like $95 for the four of us.
Do you know what? Worth every single phenomenal. Penny. To be honest, it was a weird meal because we were just sat down. That's where we were when we found out the Queen had died.
Yeah, Raymond's mate in California texted him and went, "The Queen's dead," and he was like, "Hey, the Queen's dead." And that was crazy. But we had an amazing server, and he gave us time because I was proper. Oh, how northern's that? I was proper shocked. I was stunned by it. And he gave us that time. We never felt rushed in there or anything. And another server, he was originally from Wolverhampton. He'd had to go out the back and have a cry. Bless him.
He was lovely. But he came over as well. We were chatting with him. And we had this phenomenal meal.
He was called Stephen. Our server was called Chris.
Yes.
And then Casey was the greeter as well. Yes. We spent probably half an hour talking to him in the rain.
We were in there. What time was our booking? 1:30?
Yeah, half one. We were left there about 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Was he the one that was on the podcast you were talking to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so nice. But the food, like we've said it before. When was the last time either of you two ate at Mythos?
Oh, it's been years. I think it was like 2016.
Oh, you need to rectify that.
Wow. Krista and Audrey and I ate there last year.
What did you, by the sounds of it, you weren't overly enamored?
No, it was okay. I usually have the pad thai. It was just okay.
Yeah, you see, wrong choice.
Tracey had the fork, knife and spoon grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I want.
Right.
I tried to get Stephen to go.
Spoiler alert, that was the best thing I ate the entire holiday.
So for vegetarians, the grilled cheese in tomato soup.
Tomato?
The vegetarian option is without the soup because the soup has chicken stock in it.
So they served that with...
Jade got it without the pork belly, and because the soup had chicken stock in it, she just got it with fries.
Yeah.
Which she was more than happy with.
And she said it's one of the best grilled cheese she has ever had. And
then Raymond and I split the Mythos chicken sandwich and the lamb burger.
Yeah.
The lamb burger was okay. I'm glad I didn't get a whole one. The chicken sandwich was fantastic.
What makes the grilled cheese so different than any other grilled cheese?
It's in soup.
But Jade's wasn't.
Well, Jade's wasn't. So what was so good?
Probably just the mix of cheeses. Honestly, it was one of those things that the first mouthful, I wanted to make ungodly noises.
Have you seen When Harry Met Sally?
It was... Oh, no, even better than that. It was comfort food, which with the shock we just had, I needed anyway. It was just... And it was quite a dismal day. I mean, the rain we got afterwards was you could have gone swimming. Down. It was just the perfect food for the perfect setting and the mood and everything. Yeah. It's just... Sometimes you don't need fancy.
Yeah, agreed.
I cannot put it into words. I'm salivating. It was the best thing I've ever had.
Jesus.
I'm glad that you're saying that though, because I feel like if I were to go to Mythos and see grilled cheese on a menu, you know, that wouldn't be what I would go for because I'm in a fancier restaurant, right?
It's about 2 inches thick.
Oh.
And then the bottom bit's just like a little bit soggy because it's soaked up some of this. It's not even a soup. It's quite thick.
Don't like that.
No, it works. It works because it's being grilled. It's soggy.
I don't like a soggy bottom.
That's not what I
That's what she said.
It just really works.
Just the whole thing from start to finish.
It's not that expensive.
No, like I say, for the four of us, it came with my annual pass holder discount, and we give a decent tip as well.
And shout out to Chris, the server, because everybody knows how fussy I am of my coffee, and I wanted a coffee, but I said to him, because I was prepared to say, well, it doesn't matter because I'm being fussy, and I explained how I like my coffee. He went out and he made this pot exactly how I like it, just for me. And I had this amazing cup of coffee, and then there was more coffee ready for me. And nothing was
fantastic.
Too much effort.
The fact we even got a picture with him, and he was like, "What, you want a picture with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because you've made the experience."
He's the one that we fist bumped.
Yeah,
early on, and he was just he was attentive without being intrusive, but we also were having conversation with him. After we got over that shock, we were having a laugh with him, and it was like all the stars, like all the planets aligned. It was really the perfect event.
And then moving over to Toothsome, Michelle, we weren't overly struck by Toothsome.
Right. Well, it wasn't the best experience, to be honest.
No, it was another miserable day, wasn't it? So we were all wet and cold.
Yeah.
And our server was a bit of a to be fair.
But we know that from Cowfish going a second time, I will say, and I'm going to give her a massive shout out, Lauren is one of the best servers we have ever had.
Hello,
anywhere
Lauren!
Ever. She's talking about coming to the Weekender. She has a UUOP pin on her uniform.
We were giving them out.
She was like, because I haven't been that busy. Yeah. She was like, I spent so much time talking about herself and us.
But she was never intrusive with it.
So because we got talking about the podcast, and I didn't do it for this at all.
Oh, I wasn't there. I was too busy.
So Tracey was downstairs talking to Jacques and Penelope.
Before we move on, if you're in there and you see Jacques and you have got a fan, make sure you have it out, like a folding fan, because the interaction I had because of that, I got taught fan etiquette.
You'll have heard a little bit of it last week. Or 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So Tracey was still downstairs, and I think it was me and Raymond upstairs, and I got talking to Lauren, our server, and mentioned the podcast and stuff. So Tracey comes up, she brings out the water, and she's like, I've just spoken to my manager, because you're a podcast, we're going to give you the Black Magic milkshake for free. And I was like, you what now?
How nice.
I know.
And I was like, I did not do it for that reason at all. And she's like, no, we want you. Basically, they saw it as a promotion opportunity. But no, it was cool. And then even like when they went to bring the milkshake out at the end, she said, it might be a while because the chef's making sure it is perfect for you.
Yeah.
And if you go on our Instagram, I posted the picture of it. She even suggested where to take that picture. It was so good. The Horror Nights milkshake, it was so good.
Really?
Yes. It was a pumpkin dulce de leche with a chocolate cauldron on the top and like whipped cream fire flames out the bottom of it with gummy body parts. It was amazing.
Can I just say I actually preferred Jade's?
You didn't have any of mine, did you?
I did a little sip.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I preferred Jade's.
It was free, so it was better. Jade had the red velvet cake one, but she didn't have a lot of it.
I was too full for a milkshake because I had
You just had a slice of the birthday cake.
No, just stop spoiling things. What did I eat?
Oh, I don't know.
The pork or crusted pork.
Oh, the cocoa encrusted.
Cocoa crusted pork, which is the tenderloin. It's phenomenal. So good. But I was stuffed after that. So Lauren was saying, do you not want a dessert? I'm like, I do, but I've got no room and I can't have milkshake because lactose and all of this. And she said, what about, she was pointing at the birthday cake. And I was like, that's my favourite. It's too big. I won't eat it. She said, well, what about if I bring you the small piece that we put on top of the milkshakes? And I was like, can you do that? She said, yes, I can do anything. And then, like you were saying, they were all late, not late coming out. They were slightly delayed because the chef wanted to make sure that they were picture perfect. And this came out and it was laid out on this plate and it had a swirl of like raspberry sauce and a plop of cream and a pile of chocolate
see all
flakes.
Of that.
Yeah, and it was like 4 bites and it was a perfect amount. And so that was greatly appreciated.
Nice of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so knowing that I couldn't eat that a whole one, I got the mini one.
It was so good too.
I wonder if ordinarily you could. Did they make you pay full price though?
No.
See, I don't know if the average person would be able to do that. If that was
you can only ask. Because if you say no, you're no worse off.
It's weird because I don't want people to think that I mentioned the podcast for special treatment because we've never had it anywhere else. I don't see why it should have been a thing now.
I'll be honest, Lee is still quite embarrassed to mention the podcast.
I'm getting much more of a podcast whore than I used to be.
But we were so impressed that I asked if we could speak to the chef.
Yeah, we met the chef.
She
Tori,
came out.
She was really nice as well. Yeah. I had the patty melt, which wasn't as good as I hoped it would be.
Because he didn't have the tenderloin.
Raymond had the Tour de France burger, which he said was really good. We had Tochos to start. They were amazing.
I told you, Chris Alexa and I told you, Tochos.
Put it this way, we're talking about going back to Toothsome when we come back over in November, December.
And I'm not sharing my Tochos.
That's good.
Yeah, it's definitely done a cowfish on us where I love it now. I definitely want to go back more.
Yeah.
I love cowfish.
Did the Black Magic milkshake have? So I didn't like the red velvet one because it's got a gritty texture to it because they actually blend a cupcake into it.
No, it wasn't like that.
It doesn't have that.
See, I think I liked what I had because I literally had a sip, and that was enough for me.
But again, another meal. We were in Toothsome for at least 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
at least 2 hours. And then obviously we went back to Cowfish. Cowfish has established itself as it's in my top 3 now.
It's like, do you want to go to Cowfish? Yes.
So we were going to go to the Red Coconut Club, but apparently it's closed on Horror Nights.
Which is ridiculous.
So we couldn't go in.
Wait, Red Coconut Club is closed on Horror Nights?
Yeah, the Dead Coconut Club. No, on non-Horror Nights.
Oh, non-horror. Okay.
Yeah.
I was
it was closed on a Horror Nights night 2 nights ago. We tried to go the night before last,
That's
and we couldn't go
because we met up with Chris and Alexa, and we met up with Andrew Stonesyfe, and we ended up in Cowfish.
Yes.
And I had the all-American cheeseburgushi, which was...
We told you.
Oh my God, so good.
Men never listen.
So
I
good.
am addicted. I have to go there every time I go to Universal.
So good.
I think I had the largest plate of
It's
sushi
so
they
good.
do.
Tracy just had like the 24-piece sushi thing, and it still only came in. So we ended up splitting the bill. It came... Chris said with tip, our bit came to $108, and that was for 4 of us. And then 2 hours later,
That's
he's like...
not bad.
Yeah, but then 2 hours later, he goes, oh, I think I messed it all up. I got the tip wrong, so sent us another $13 back. So it only cost us $95 for 4
Yeah,
of
that's
us.
pretty dang good.
And Tracy's was like 25 on its own. My
So
Bagushi
good.
was like 19. I can't remember what Raymond had.
Right.
Jade
Jade
had
had
like
like
a
fries.
decent, but no, she had that bean burger, didn't she?
Oh, she
'Cause I
actually
ended
had
up
something that
finishing
wasn't
that as
fries.
well.
Okay.
So good. Tristan, our server again, was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. City Walk is becoming like where we had places that were down the list. Now it's like there isn't anywhere I don't like to. Like leaving Bubba Gump out and
We've done that a number of times.
Margaritaville and Hard Rock. I'm not bothered about them, but all the rest of them, I really like them.
He says we haven't been to Vivo.
Yet, that's
Or
true.
Bread Box.
My favorite.
I
Or
know.
Cold Stone.
No, they're
Bend
not
the
sit-down
Bow.
places. We did hot
I've never
dog.
been to Bubba Gump ever.
Yeah, I like
okay.
it. If you like seafood, I like it. It's good. We've been twice. I enjoyed it.
I don't like
Margaritaville's
seafood,
crap.
but we went.
We did go to Confisco.
Yeah, we went to Confisco.
I'm not convinced I'd go back again.
I wouldn't go back again.
See, Tracy, you said the same exact thing I did. So we went to Confisco for the first time for my birthday, and I wanted to sit upstairs in the Navigators Club. And I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. But it was like 3:00 in a weekday, and there was nobody up there but us.
Yeah.
There's no atmosphere.
No, exactly.
It's
Devoid
not
of
decorated.
No.
It's just, there's just a bunch of tables thrown in there. If
It's
we were
just-
sitting out on the balcony and you could people watch
Yep.
and see Marvel Superhero Island and like the Hulk going in the background,
Yep.
it would be a different story.
But
But
didn't
we were
it just
just
feel like
isolated.
it was just like an empty hallway?
Yeah,
That's
and
what it felt
yeah.
like.
The
Tables
menu-
put in a hallway.
The menu's not
And
great
you would be
either.
amazed at how much it costs to rent that place out.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the menu wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. I struggled.
Trying to get something for Jade was they like literally had no vegetarian substitutions for anything. It's like this is what there is, and I can't even remember what she
Yeah, I
had.
wasn't
It
impressed.
wasn't. No, I wasn't impressed.
I mean, the server, that poor server was absolutely rushed to her feet, and that family next to us were the family from bloody hell.
No, there was a table behind us with about 15 people on it. Or like 6 kids all shouting and
I'd say
screaming.
somebody needs to remind those parents they were parents because those kids were obnoxious.
Yeah. So we
The
did,
redeeming feature, though, the views and some of the photographs I got from the balcony.
oh yeah,
But that's all. That's
you can sneak up there and get them yourself without.
It's
that.
all the good I can say about it. I would have preferred to have been sat downstairs, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you now.
Yep.
Hot Dog Hall of Fame was good.
It was, except
It was all right.
the one I got, which was great, I just forgot that I can't have green peppers anymore. So I had to pull loads of... However, what was that relish? Pickle relish or something?
I don't know.
This green relish. Oh my God, that's the best thing I've ever had. Apart
How
from
northern
mythos.
were you there? Oh, that was the best thing I've ever had, lad.
It was... I love pickles, though.
Um,
Which
I
It's
love
sauce form.
relish on my hot dog.
Oh, it was
so good.
Yes, so good.
We
yeah,
did-
I'd go there again.
we did Burger Digs for the first time.
We did. It was
all right, actually.
It wasn't bad.
It was all right.
The food's good, but it's usually pretty crowded.
That was the problem.
We struggled to find a table.
Crazy busy.
It was raining outside as well, which was half the reason we were in there.
That was the annoying thing. There was people sitting just waiting out the rain, and there's people walking around with trays of food. I do think they need to do something like they do in Fast Food Boulevard, where you don't. It's regulated, and if you don't have food, you don't get a table.
Yeah, today
there was a mother with a load of kids, and they couldn't get anywhere to sit.
I said we went to Today Cafe. You had the Halloween Horror Nights thing. What was it? The spicy apple Pop Tart.
Yeah,
it was good.
Ooh, was that good?
Yeah,
It was. I think 3/4 of it was enough. It got a bit sickly for me.
You gave me the rest of it. I enjoyed it.
However, I cannot stand white chocolate. There's a white chocolate skull sticking out of this.
Oh yeah,
it's the best bloody white chocolate I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Seriously.
Why are you being so northern tonight?
I don't
It's
know.
the best bloody thing I've ever had in my life. Whip it, lad.
I didn't have a Yorkshire accent. Thank you. I was so shocked. I was like, oh, white chocolate, I'll eat it anyway. That was like, it was like the angels were singing. I think because your chocolate is different to ours.
Yes.
It was.
Well, I just found out that white chocolate isn't actually chocolate.
No, there's no cocoa in it.
It's wax. It's vile. Have I not brought you proper chocolate?
Gillian must have done.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
right.
We'll be getting some next time.
I will bring you proper chocolate. You can taste what chocolate really tastes
Raymond
like.
and I went in there one morning and he had because he's a millennial, or he's not a Gen X, whatever he is, he had the avocado toast, which he really enjoyed. It actually looked pretty good.
I can't believe I raised that.
So I'm going to put my first tick on the board of something you need to try. The Cafe con Leche cinnamon roll in the Today Cafe is to die for. It is amazing.
It sounds really sweet.
Oh, it is, but it's so good.
Is that something you had without me?
And I bumped into another listener in there, actually, Simon Isabel. And then we went back with Connor, didn't we? You had the 30 Rock Midtowner.
Yeah, because
again,
Lee was like, well, why'd you have that again? But I was just in that sort of mood where I just needed something familiar that I knew I was going to enjoy.
Carnegie. Now, Michelle, I know you're not a sandwich girl.
Right. Ooh.
What?
Yeah, I know it's weird, isn't it?
I mean, I'll eat them, but it's not my thing.
Yeah.
You see, us British people, especially
sandwiches.
Northerners, you find a way to put something between two slices of bread.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn if it's lasagna, if it's a pie, if it's soup, it goes between two slices of bread.
So I had the Carnegie, which is I think there's only the Bulls and the Bear of the main sort of meaty sandwiches that I haven't had at this point, but the Carnegie was really good. It was some purple meat with mustard on it. I have no idea what it was. It was really good.
Sounds lovely.
Was it pastrami?
It might have been pastrami.
No, it wasn't.
I don't know. It was really good anyway.
I was going to say, I think I've had that before, so
yeah, it was
I think
so
it's probably
good. I haven't had anything from the Today Cafe that I haven't liked so far.
Yeah.
And then Horror Nights. Let's give Michelle some
food for thought.
Recommendations for when she goes to Halloween Horror Nights. Has anyone had, other than me, the Haunted Horseshoe?
I did.
What did you think
the
of
other
it?
night? It was so good.
Yes.
Delicious.
Agreed.
And okay, but this is a funny story. So I'm standing there talking with it was our group, me, Christina, our friend Sarah Collin, John, and then we met up with Chris and Alexa. And I'm standing there. I just got in the horseshoe and I'm eating through the burger part. And then I pick up the bacon and I take a big old bite. And mid-sentence, I just trail off. I started to go, oh no, because it's soaked in jalapenos.
Oh, I never got any of that.
Didn't know it, and I am a huge wuss when it comes to spicy stuff. So I handed it to Chris. It was not spicy
at all.
No, it is, and Chris finished it for me.
It wasn't.
My mouth was on fire. My lips were on fire for like 10 minutes.
It was really good.
I wish I'd had that.
I tried. I'll go through what I went through. So the Lil Boo's pumpkin bun, that was really good.
Smelt really good.
It was really good. The Tombstone red velvet cake pop was really good.
That looked good. It was quite big as well, that.
The churro dog.
I made it better.
Chris bought me it and it was like, it was all right.
If you pull the end off, it looks really rude, and you have a good laugh first. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I had a couple of bites.
Oh, it was. We should. I can't believe we didn't get a picture of it.
I know it was okay.
The deep fried PB&J is disgusting. I had the whatever the.
Sorry, Chris. Or no, was it
Kenneth? Kenneth bought me that. Oh, it was devastating.
He won't remember. He was
got
drunk.
the hot dog with the twisted tater around it. It was very disappointing.
I think they're twisted tater.
Twisted taters suck. Sorry.
I've never ever had one.
They're not my favorite either.
That was
Unpopular
it. I think
opinion.
that's all I had. So what did you have?
I had the African lentil
coffin.
Oh, so good.
It sounded good.
It was amazing. But I like that sort of like North African spice. But it was a perfect balance. I would have eaten like 10 of those.
See, I still haven't gotten over my Africa trip. I had like enough of that stuff.
How racist is Michelle?
Several years.
How it's got African in the title. I can't possibly eat that.
No, like the African spices.
Yeah.
If you're not used to them, they're just very different and overwhelming.
Yeah.
You had the carnitas arepas.
I did. That was very good. Apart from micro cilantro, which I was not expecting. So it felt like I had a mouthful of soap first off.
And Jade had the mozzarella arepas, and she said that was really good as well.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Did anybody have the pizza skull?
No, Raymond went to get it, but the line for it was a mile long every time we went anywhere near it.
Also, you can buy the molds in Walmart for $5.99. And I'm really kicking myself for not picking one up. No, I had more. Oh, when we were on the RIP tour, we tried zombie brains. Heads up, it's cauliflower.
Oh, yeah. I got pizza fries at the RIP tour. It was all right.
Yeah, I have pizza fries. I have pizza fries. What else do we have there?
Oh, you had the princess. You had the...
Oh, I haven't got round to that. I'm back in the RIP tour at
We
the
haven't
moment.
got that much time.
I know, but help me out. You were there.
Yeah, the meat stuff, I've heard that it's awful.
Disappointing. Right.
The offals are amazing.
Yeah, you had the chicken offals.
Are there? They've got it wrong. I will tell you now. They've not used gochujang correctly. I had that. I was expecting so much because I cook a gochujang a lot. It was just plain gochujang. They have not added, it needed soy sauce or honey or something just to balance it, and they hadn't done that. I was very disappointed by those. Very disappointed.
Wow. I thought those were going to be your favorite.
So did I. Turns out it was the lentil coffin.
Are they spicy?
Yes, but not massively.
Was it?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I didn't get any heat from them. But then again,
if you go on our Instagram, there's a live video of Tracy eating them.
Probably pulled a face. We did get the freshly ground princess.
It was awful.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It wasn't nice. I mean, to be fair, we left it 3 days before we actually
didn't.
ate
It was the next day.
It wasn't. I can tell you it wasn't the next day.
Soggy Rice Krispie treats aside, the flavour wasn't good.
Yeah, it was weird. It wasn't
very
pleasant.
synthetic. So that was my most anticipated place to eat. I was really disappointed. Really disappointed. There was something else I had.
I don't remember having anything else.
I'm looking forward to that chicken soup thing that they have that has like the skeleton cornbread in it.
Oh, the chile. Yeah, that looks really good. We didn't get that.
So somebody walked by me with that in line for, I think it was Hell Block Horror. And when I tell you that whole room just smelled of that soup and everybody was stopping this person going, what is that? Where did you get it? Because it smelled incredible.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, but to be fair, nearly everything we tried was fairly decent, to be honest.
I mean, Travis had the
good guy burger. Oh my God, he
all
looked
over
a
his
mess.
face.
Yeah, he looked like he just murdered someone with his teeth.
Well, he was covered in this sauce, and my sticky trigger kicked in, and I was like, "Oh my God, just stay away from me!" You know, what? You don't like sticky? And wiped it all over his face. Oh my! I was crawling. I was crawling.
Drinks wise, I haven't had any. I had one of the zombie fizz from the Freestar machine.
I don't know. I had lots of tequila.
Woo!
You had the Save Your Tears.
Save Your Tears, best drink.
And then you
absolutely
had
amazing.
The Ghoul Juice.
Ghoul Juice. Myers rum, that's bad. Chris Azell, he described it perfectly. It tasted like if you're blowing a balloon up and the air puffs back into your mouth, that rubbery flavour you get. That's exactly what Myers... He said, does it taste like balloon rubber? And I said, yeah. And he went, that's Myers rum.
We were talking about it last night and she went, it tastes of balloons. And I'm like, what?
And his face. And it did. And I don't want to drink
balloons. It tastes of balloons?
Oh, it was made with dead clowns.
That's funny.
So, yes.
All right, guys. Well, let's move on.
Yeah, I think we need to.
and take a break and talk about the Weekender, and then we'll move on to your rides before we run out of time.
Yes, of course. Don't forget, tickets are on sale. Gillian has got all of hers for everything at this point. If not, you better go and do it now.
Yes.
The general admission ticket includes our welcome meeting with Chris, where you will get absolutely sloshed off his cult juice.
Yes.
We'll be doing group rides on Velocicoaster.
That sounds really bad. We really need to reword that.
Kong and E.T. And a chance to be a part of our listener survey for this year. That's Bow Pick a Bow Bow. And be a chance to be with a chance of getting on the podcast. And of course, we have our ever-present Men in Black competition where prizes will be had for the highest scores. I will say plural scores, usually 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yep. And then on top of the general ticket, we also have our add-on experience, which is a 3-course private lunch at Vivo with a chance to ask the 4 of us hosts anything you like. This takes place on Sunday at noon. And like I said, is an add-on experience.
Mm-hmm. There's also the Seekender, which is a separate ticket and an add-on. The Seekender 2022 Challenge, which is being made up by our good friend from the Unofficial Guides, Seth Kabursky. That is our Universal Orlando Scavenger Hunt, and that is an add-on to your general admission ticket. So create your own team and test your universal knowledge and win some prizes, and you will have to do a little bit of hunting around to find Chris, Michelle, Tracy and myself at some point.
Hide and seek, Ender.
I am looking forward to that.
Hide and seek, Ender.
Yes.
I love that. I'm so excited for activity portions.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Jillian, you were really into this in 2019. So
you better believe it. And I'm still bitter.
I'm just looking forward to sitting down for an hour with a drink and some shade while everybody else runs about.
I nearly said something there, but it would give people a hint to where I'm going to be.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to say anything.
Nope, no hints.
Apparently, Tracy's going to be in the shade, so.
That's nowhere then.
No. Sorry, I meant I'll be giving shade.
Okay. The general admission ticket, Seekender, and Vivo Lunch can all be purchased by going to UUOP Weekender 2022.eventbrite.com.
And finally, we announced it last week. We are repeat announcing that tickets for the Progressive Water Taxi dining experience are available.
I mean, they might not be, to be fair, at this point.
I will not be able to say that after Rums. I can barely say it now.
Hopefully they're still available.
Yes, they may not be. Spaces are incredibly limited, if not completely gone.
But that doesn't mean if you want to be on it, because there might be. We don't know.
This is going to include a drink at the Hard Rock's Velvet Lounge, an appetizer at Royal Pacific's Orchid Court, an entree at Portofino's Mamadella's, and dessert at Sapphire Falls Strongwater Tavern, followed by all the rum you care to buy and drink.
I'll be there.
Yes.
Till 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm sure.
Feel free to buy me rum too.
I can't wait. I'm so excited for this.
In fact, I've decided I'm going to dress up as a pirate. As I say, spaces are uber limited. So get on it. Email Michelle at portkeyvacations.net.
Again, I haven't put it in, but the dates for the weekend are December 2nd through 4th.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a blast. All right, moving on. Why don't you guys give us a brief synopsis of your RIP tour experience?
First of all, big shout out to Rich. Once again, he was amazing.
Loved
Just
Rich.
part of our group.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't like a tour guide. It was just like he was part of our group. It was so cool. I love Rich to bits.
As long as he's doing those tours, we want him as our guide.
Like, he's just nothing is a hassle. That was a night, like, we tried to get Tracy, getting her a wheelchair because
he
it was like none a hassle. It's like, is there anywhere I can, because I had a massive bag with me. It's like, can we stay? Oh, we'll go and get a locker. So anyone knows private RIP tour, if you need someone in a wheelchair, that wheelchair is complimentary. If you need a locker for the night, those lockers are complimentary.
And that wheelchair I got to take all the way up to the hub as well at the end of the night, which was a godsend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We started off where we usually do in the Hollywood Suites, kind of mingled around there, and then went over to Cafe La Bamba for food. The food was all right. I actually thought it was better last time, if I'm honest.
I thought the food at Scare Active Dining was better.
Well, it is.
When we did that,
that's more of a meal, whereas this isn't. This is
like taste,
the food there's more just like finger foods, whereas Scare Active Dining's a meal. This isn't. It's just to kind of give you something to eat. But like all your soft drinks were free, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, and teas and coffees and things.
Yeah, we went to Lombard's as well, which we've never done before as part of it.
No.
It's so funny how all of us had never been inside Lombard's until we went there for the RP tour.
You remember it now? It was the first. It was where Tracy got a cherry popped.
That is. Oh, that's where the magic happened.
Oh,
and you know what? It's gorgeous in there. I'm going back.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
we went
is.
in there last year for our RIP tour as well.
Oh yeah, I'm forgetting you did one last year. And we went upstairs and Jimmy Fallon as well. Again, we were up there for ages. Shout out to Michael, the tour guide up there. We got talking to. That was awesome. Well, we'd done everything at that point. To be fair, like we'd done multiple runs through multiple houses. So Michelle, whereas we did it in 2019, where we did every house twice, this one it was more focused, wasn't it? We were like, we did a house, and then it was like, does anyone want to do that again? Yeah. Or we'd do the weekend. Does anyone want to do the weekend again? Yeah, we'll do the weekend again.
We did Monsters. Did we do the weekend twice in a row?
Yeah, Monsters.
So you went like you do it right in a row.
Yeah,
Yes.
And then Monsters.
Round.
We go straight through Monsters again, and then we did Dead Man's Pier 3 times in a row, and we did Chupacabra 3 times in a row. But then we only did like Hell Block Horror once. I think we did Coven once.
Well, we did Descendants once. We did Coven once.
Yeah, so we worked out doing 20 houses, but split up with different runs through different houses rather than twice through each. We did Ghoulish, we did Nightmare Fuel.
It was managing footfall as well, wasn't it? I mean, it didn't manage me. I was sat my ass all night.
Anyway, so we did Ghoulish, we did Nightmare Fuel. Ghoulish is a very different show from last year and very different show from the original Marathon of Mayhem.
I think it's very polarizing. It's not my favorite. It's the bottom of the 3 for me.
Do you remember what I said to you about mine and Gillian's very differing opinions? There's another example. I'm not going to talk about it too much now because we're going to talk about these much more in depth when we get Chris back on, but I like it. I understand it now. I have spoken to the guy that directed that show and I understand it much, much more because he's explained it to me. But yeah, I like it. It's still not Marathon of Mayhem for me. I still love that show more, but I like this for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare Fuel was good. A lot of people said
it
was exactly the same as last year's. We've gone back and watched last year's. I don't want to say too much about it again because we're going to talk about it when Chris comes on. The first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes are the middle isn't very different. No, it's not. The middle's very, very different. I think it is a far superior show this year to last year's.
Okay.
And there's some eye candy.
Yeah, there is. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
We may have got a bit lewd.
During our RIP tour, I asked to be seated in a very specific place because of a certain dancer, and she wasn't there. I was very disappointed.
But yeah, Michelle, they didn't change even the song, the cues,
only the beginning and the
trick.
End. Everything else is different.
The magic trick's the same?
The exact same.
Yeah.
What the heck?
The first 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes, but everything in the middle's so much better.
Oh. Because
we watched it the night, but yeah, I like it a lot. I saw it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Ghoulish 3 times. It's good. I like them. It's a good year. Again, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to temper your expectations or I want to wait until we're all 4 of us together to discuss it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good year.
Excellent. So RIP tour was a hit as always.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was my first and it was incredible.
And it won't
You're
be
spoiled forever, right, Jillian?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah.
We had a really good group together and
absolutely brilliant group.
I got to do little heel kicks off.
I was going to say that was so funny.
Yeah.
I could see it.
I've seen the Instagram.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Made a boomerang.
Yeah. It was funny. It was a good night.
I had some really... this is one thing, being in a wheelchair, I'm assuming we're going to go through that in more depth another time.
Probably.
But I got to see things from a different angle. And I got so much interaction with scare actors.
I still never got as good a run through a house as we did that last run through Yeti at 2019. I don't think I ever will get a run through that.
You mean the last house we ever
phenomenal.
did?
Yeah.
No, the best run through of a house I've ever gotten in my entire life was the weekend, the first time we did it all together.
I heard that you were quite entertaining.
That was the funniest.
Oh my God.
I mean, when you
walk and I may have given a call out to you in last week's episode, so make sure you listen.
Oh,
yes, you need to. It's very important.
I have a request for you.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Tracy, so you were in the wheelchair all the way through the houses too?
Not all of them.
But towards the end of the night, I was struggling a bit, so we went through a few, which I'm glad I did because, as I said, that different angle And do you know what? Hats off to Creative, because they've thought about people who are in like lower positions, because I saw things I hadn't noticed before.
Sure, we'll talk about when we go through the house and stuff much more in depth. But like even the scare actors were just because you're down there doesn't mean you're not going to miss out. That you're going to miss out on stuff.
That was part of my worry. I've had to use a wheelchair before, and I got spoken to like I was mentally disabled.
I mean, to be fair,
you might be soon. And I'll be honest, that was really part of my worry, was that I was going to be ignored because people don't know how to deal with people in wheelchairs, because
I think that's just over here.
I don't know. So that was my worry, and I didn't need to worry. But yeah, Creative have literally done those houses from the ground up.
See, I think that would make it more scary for me, because I have no control of myself. As far as being able to like run past something if I need to.
Right, can I just say something before we get chastised for it? Andy, Catherine, I am so sorry. We know that Creative have nothing to do with Halloween Horror Nights, and it's all art and design. So before you jump on Tracy's back and complain,
look, I've had a very long day
art and design, not creative. She does apologise.
Lee speaks for me.
Excellent.
I have to say that because I know we had a whole bloody conversation with them about it at Cabana Bay, and they still got it wrong.
Look, my defence, very, very long first day at uni. I'm exhausted.
Yes, Horror Nights is awesome. I can't wait for Michelle to you have been so we can talk about it much more in depth and spoilery.
Yes. 2 weeks, guys. 2 weeks.
Yes.
Promise. Woo! All right. So let's move on from that, because we are big time running out of time.
Yeah.
This is the moment I have been waiting for 3 weeks, Lee. I've asked you, and you've only responded with like 3 words. So, tell me.
So
how did you like Velocicoaster?
Right, let me just tell the story. I think I kind of told it on there, but I know you haven't listened.
It was all right.
So we get into line. It's a 55-minute wait. There's rain threatening. Yeah. So we get through the line. I will say now, that locker situation isn't as good in reality as it is on paper. It's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest.
Oh, really? It's been brilliant for me.
It was a bit of a mess twice that we rode it. So we get through, up the stairs, through into the load station, and it is pouring down outside. Like proper Florida thunderstorm weather.
Mm-hmm. And just so the ride shut down.
I don't even know whether I want to go on. And there was people coming in absolutely soaked.
And I was down to my last set of clothes at this point.
So we get to next in line. We literally stood at the barrier waiting to get on. Due to inclement weather, Velocicoaster will not be operating now. And I was like,
I was so relieved.
So I'm stood there going, how long is it going to be down? Because it looks like it's pouring. I walked over to the team member and I'm like,
well, I was after about 10 minutes.
I'm quite happy to wait, but my bladder, on the other hand, isn't. Is there anywhere I can go to the toilet? So they directed me over to the team member toilet. So we waited. It was probably 20 minutes. They started testing, and then we were the first ones on, kind of middle of the row. And Michelle, I said to Raymond, I rode with Raymond first, and I said, apparently Michelle says if you really want to make it more intense, turn to the left when you go through the Mosasaur roll. And he's like, okay then. Mm-hmm. He got off and went, holy I wish I hadn't done that.
Yes,
right? It's like, did you do it? I was like, hell no, I wasn't doing it. Not on my first run through.
He's trying to make sure he doesn't puke.
I will echo what Chris said the first time he rode it. I didn't know what happened.
No.
I got off it and I was like, holy crap. Like, it's over so quickly.
It's so smooth. You don't realise how fast you're moving. And oh my, those launches.
But there's so much crammed into it. Yes. And you're just like,
that's why you need to ride it more than once. Because the first time was just like holy crap. What was that?
So the second time we get on it and we're back row.
Yeah.
So Tracy and Jade was like second from back row.
Yeah.
And Raymond and I were back row. And I heard Tracy say to Jade, this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
Nah.
And it didn't at all.
Nah.
It is just as smooth at the back as it is anywhere else. I had my arms up the whole way around. That top hat back row is amazing.
The airtime you get as you crest that is unbelievable.
And I got off it, like I could probably ride that multiple times in a row. I got off it feeling fresh as a daisy.
Yeah.
It is so smooth. It is so amazing. Again, I'm still not sure what the hell happens on it because it's just over it just seems to be over like that. but it's so good.
That is my favourite ride anywhere.
Isn't it incredible?
It's so good.
I still think I prefer Hagrid's.
As an overall experience, I agree. I prefer Hagrid's because it's the story. It's Harry Potter. It has all these different, kinds of elements that aren't just pure coaster elements. But in terms of like thrill, what roller coaster do I want to ride? I want to ride Velocicoaster.
I mean,
that's what I said.
We did everything as well. We did Hulk. We did Rip Ride Rocket. We did Velocicoaster. We did Hagrid's.
We did Hulk.
Hulk's not as rough as people say it is.
I've now ridden Hulk
the
first time
of Hulk is very rough.
I can't remember where we were.
We were back half.
Yeah, it was decent.
I missed that the build up to the launch though. It's nondescript now.
So again, continuing on, I went into the parks on my own one morning that I've never done before. It was awesome. I like it.
That's because me and Jade went shopping with
I
Chris.
rode Men in Black 7 times in a row, even to the point where all the team members were like, "Oh, back again, are you?" And I was talking to the girl who was operating the ride, and she kept asking me what my score was. So I hit 715,000.
Nice.
And then by the end of it, I was hitting like 200. And then we rode it, me, you, Chris, Alexa, and Raymond one night. And I got the worst in the car. I was terrible.
We did.
We didn't do
Blame
Mummy.
your gun.
Oh, I was awful. Just
awful.
Man.
It needs a refurb. I mean, you have to admit that.
We did Horror Makeup Show with Robin and Summer.
Oh my God. One of the best moments ever. Robin comes out on stage. I think she clocked Lee. And when she went out the back to like summon Summer came flying out straight to Lee and kissed him on the head.
No, she grabbed hold of me on the shoulders, went, in my face, kissed me on the head twice, and then ran off.
I was dead. So funny.
They're so good together, them two.
They are.
So Born.
Yeah, Born.
Wow.
Holy crap.
It is the only thing that brought any... So you know how emotional I get in theme parks, and I didn't tear up much on this one, believe it or not. That was the one thing that clicked with me emotionally. I was sat, every time something new happened, I was like, oh my God, how is this even happening?
Yeah.
And then we saw it again, and you start to see little details that you don't see the first time. So there's like projections of gunshots on the physical sets. It's so good.
Obviously, it's like laser precision for lining up.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Like, and it's one of those we went in with such big hype that everyone's like, it is amazing. And it lived up to that and beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, even after you've seen it 10, 15 times, you're still like, how did that? I missed it again. Like, I literally wanted to pay attention to see how that was happening. And I still didn't see how it was happening.
How do you do a slow motion section in a live action stunt show, and then with a perspective change in the middle of it? It's just unbelievable.
Really strong abs.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Though.
Yeah.
It was just like the car chase at the end, that the cars were there, but then they kept changing the perspective of it with the screen. It's just flawless.
But little things like the motorbike, when it sped up and the wheels got faster, which obviously the wheels weren't even on the...
Yeah, it's so good.
Very, very clever.
It's something I will see every time we go to that park.
And the second time we saw it, we actually had the perfect seats.
Yeah, we're right bang in the middle row, middle of the screen. It's phenomenal. Just so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Everybody I've gone with has been not that impressed with it, and it's been very disappointing for me because I really enjoy it. Well, they either get sick, like they get motion sick.
Really?
Yes, very motion sick.
Wow.
Okay. Never affected me at all.
Yeah, no, I've heard a bunch of people getting motion sick from exactly that, from the change in perspective of the screens. But I adore it. The first time I ever saw it, you're right about that laser precision, because the first time I ever saw it, they had to stop the show. Because one of the set pieces didn't exactly hit its mark.
Right.
And the whole show came to a screeching halt, and they had to reset the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, happened to me too.
Yeah, we were quite lucky because I know a lot of people like, but it doesn't break down, and it didn't, and it was just spot on all the way through. It's so
that
good.
attention to detail is good, because I know it's like on a curve, but that has to line up no matter which seat you're in. It's got to be the perfect view.
It's just
I'm blown away by
mind blowing. It's like when he's walking along and the screen's moving, and he's obviously on a treadmill on the floor, but you can't see the treadmill, and it just love it. Absolutely love it. It's like if
that is a must do every trip now.
Like we've talked before, if you're going to replace Jaws, replace it with something decent. They did Diagon Alley. You're going to replace T2 3D, which was my favorite, like that type of show anywhere. they've far surpassed it. I'm quite happy for that to replace it. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
Yep.
T-Who?
Yeah, it's so good. Even the little nod to it at the end when he's like, "You'll be terminated without," whatever the word, I can't remember what it is.
Prejudice.
That's the one. Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
I like that you had two things that were crazy hyped for this trip and that they both lived up.
Yeah, they did. And it's rare that happens. Yeah. Even if something is amazing, when it's hyped up, that expectation, it can never live up to that expectation. And they both truly, truly did.
I had 3 things. Fork, knife and spoon.
Oh, yeah.
Grilled cheese. That also, I thought had been overhyped. So I had 3 things that happened with.
There's no way you can tell me that you love Fast and the Furious now.
Oh, so I'm going to bring this up, right? So we went to ride it. So I went to drag Raymond on it for the first time. So we get through the first pre-show. We get through the second pre-show. We're just about to board.
They were good pre-shows. I will give them that.
I love the pre-shows, right?
Flipping hilarious.
We were just about to get on it and it breaks down.
Gutted.
So it's like
devastating.
20 minutes before park close. So they give us those single-use express tickets. So the morning Raymond and I, so the day I went in on my own, Jade and Tracey were out at Chris's L till probably 1 or 2 o'clock. So Raymond met up with me about 10. And I was like, come on, they don't want to ride it, so I'll drag you on it. And we got sat in the front row.
Oh, I didn't ride it, did I?
No. Yeah, we got sat in the front row right behind the driver. Ugh. Which is a really bad spot anyway. And then I
At least on Fast and Furious, you can see out the windshield. In Kong, you can't.
Yeah, but the fact that you can see through the windshield means you can see that motion base when you lock into it. So it really spoils a lot of the stuff that you're not supposed to see. But I saw that attraction for what it really is this time, and it is awful.
He saw the light finally.
Please beat
it only took 2.5 years.
If I can go through the pre-shows and then get out of it, I'm quite happy because I love the pre-shows. The pre-shows are awesome, but the actual thing itself is terrible.
The pre-shows, I love to see how the actors put their own spin on those parts.
We had some really good.
The girl was the funniest thing because she was just so
deadpan,
like a teenage girl. So it was just like.
So speaking of pre-shows, we did. That night we did Men in Black with Chris and Alexa and me, you and Raymond. We had the best Men in Black pre-show I have ever had. There was a little short sort of dumpy ginger guy.
Wow.
Played it to the ultimate.
Hope he's not listening.
I hope he is because, dude, if you were listening, you were amazing. Because he came out with the gun. He was like, come on, people, move it. He was absolutely brilliant. You don't even remember it.
I have no recollection of this.
He was
I think
fantastic.
Lee imagined it.
No, he was fantastic.
It's a fever
dream. It was the night when the 5 of us did it together. I mean,
where were we stood when this all happened?
In the middle of the pre-show room.
Which pre-show room?
Men in Black.
Oh, sorry. You mean the opening?
That's the pre-show.
Is it? Whatever.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, shout out to him. He was amazing.
What the hell did you think I was
I have
about?
no idea. I'm thinking there's a pre-show.
You're not the only one.
There's a pre-show in Men in Black?
Right,
what?
so we've got that. So,
seriously,
yeah, it was so good. Did it all as it was supposed to be done, but really amped it up. It was brilliant.
I've only seen that one time, and it was so good.
Yeah, it is. So just to finish this off, we alluded to it at the beginning of a chance meeting on a bus going back. So we were going back to the hotel after Halloween Horror Nights one night, and I'm on my phone posting to Instagram, not really paying attention. And then I look up, and Tracy's like having this huge in-depth conversation with this girl who stood up, and I'm like,
I think it started with a yay, yeah.
It feels like you two know each other. What the hell's going on here? Because I'm thinking, when have you been?
Oh, I know what this is.
How have you been? How have you met people without me? I don't know what's going on. And this girl,
found her people.
And this girl looks at me. She looks at me with this huge grin on her face.
She knew. We don't.
Right? And she pulls her phone out and turns the back to it. And it's got BTS stuff on the back. And I'm just like, oh.
We were on the night I went back by myself and Jade had already gone back. She was sat opposite me. And I saw she had BT21 pins on. So I literally just leaned forward, did a little cough and showed her the back of my phone. That was it. Besties. Instagram exchange. We talked all the way. And we have been talking regularly ever since. I love Genevieve.
Aw, how nice.
Hey, Army find themselves in the wild. We always find each other.
It was that confident. It's like, how do you know each? What the hell?
It was his face and she knew, without saying it, we knew we were just going to have some fun with this. We just had this conversation. Oh, it was hilarious. Confusedly is funny.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
I think we kind of talked about it a little bit last week. You know, it had its issues, this trip, for sure. Yeah. Things we had to deal with as we went along.
But in a way, I say that's a positive because it's good for the show because we have different understandings for things. Because the wheelchair, anybody's got any questions for me, I will talk to them about it. You know,
right.
And it's given me a different appreciation for a lot of things.
Yeah, and just like,
you know
me, when things don't go to plan, it's usually the end of the world when I'm over there.
Really,
it would ruin the holiday, and it didn't. We dealt with them on the fly, and it didn't spoil things. I can't speak for you. You obviously had different issues I have, but from my point of view, going on holiday with the entire family for the first time, knowing how our family can be.
It wasn't for the first time, but...
The first time in a long time, 7 years since all four of us have been together. And don't forget, he's been moved out so that dynamic of having him as being the son again, rather than the adult out of the house. I thought it was a really, really good trip.
Good. It was. For me, it was just, I was in constant pain. But that can't be helped. We dealt with that the best we could.
Alcohol and drugs.
Yeah, just mix them. American drugs and alcohol.
Good. I know if Michelle had been there, she'd have just been handing you fistfuls of them like she was with me when I had a headache. Here, have all of them.
Yeah. I must admit, though, after having all that tequila and 2 cocktails, and I woke up the next morning and went, ooh, my head's a bit thick.
I think she used the term hanging.
I was hanging. So I went and had a beer for breakfast.
Yeah, she had a hot head brew for 10 o'clock in the morning.
No. It was 12 o'clock.
It was not.
It was 12 o'clock. It was 12 o'clock because I said to the girl, it's after 12. I can have one now.
I was hanging myself and there was no way I was having a beer. Absolutely not.
But yeah, like I'm desperate to get back out because we didn't actually ride an awful lot. But again, it was one of those. It
was the kids' trip though, wasn't it?
I don't feel sad that we missed out on stuff. Whether that's knowing that I'm going back or what.
Did miss out though.
I'm gutted we didn't do Mummy, just for mainly for the show from a point of view of not being.
Yeah,
but
she'll be back in just a few weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wish I'd done the Weekend House one more time.
Yeah, there was things I would have liked to have done more, but I think overall, there's always things you're going to want to have done more, and it just didn't work out. It's difficult. That's what I was going to say. Horror Nights is a difficult one. When you go to Horror Nights, when you go on a vacation to Universal during Horror Nights takes up the vast majority of your trip, whether you want it to or not.
Yeah.
Because whether you're actually in Halloween Horror Nights or not sleeping the next day.
Or suffering because you've got up early and you probably shouldn't have done. It has such an effect on a trip.
It does. And when you're putting in, like, you do a full day in the park and then you go to Horror Nights, that's actually another full day of hours.
We never really did full days.
But we did push it.
Yeah. I could have gone way more than we did.
And a couple of days
I advise my clients very differently when they're doing an HHN trip versus a non-HHN trip.
It's difficult for us because
I can't do those sort of hours anymore. You can. Fine. Abandon your wife. That's okay.
Michelle said it's all right. She said I can. She's glad that we split up because we don't like each other. Please beep that.
Oh, God. Keep it in. Wow. A little harsh. Well, I didn't say all that now.
I'll tell you what, guys. That money he brought home, I'm spending next time.
Oh, you can do. I'm not bothered.
All of it.
You got it in recording.
No, it's fine. I'm more than happy. We're gonna, It was a really good trip. I thoroughly
travel together and just be separate.
Well, I didn't sit next to her on the plane either way either.
Well, you will be this time.
Yes, I will be. I missed it actually.
Unless it gets bumped.
Bummed.
We have a hurricane barreling down on us right now.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to have our last Horror Nights night on Wednesday. And I know I'm really worried about it because
girl, go do it.
Well, if it's closed, I can. If I get called into the hospital, I can.
That's true.
Because Steven has had 2 hours. We bought the Rush of Fear for the month of September. And the one night he was supposed to go on a Saturday, we had a family emergency, so we couldn't go. We only went for like an hour and a half at the end of the night. He only did 3 houses.
Oh no!
And so this was supposed to be his night, and that was our last night. And I didn't get to say my goodbye to the event this year, and so I'm really hoping it still happens.
Yeah, cross everything.
Well, yeah, let's hope they don't cancel it, and you can just wear your galoshes and a raincoat and just enjoy the no crowds.
Exactly. I will happily wear my poncho all night because it won't be any lines.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It has impact. I know it rained a lot when we were there. Nearly every night we were at Horror Nights, it rained. Funnily enough, the RIP tour was the only night it didn't.
Thank God. It did leading up to. Yeah. And it stopped half an hour before.
Yeah, because I bought a friggin' poncho. And then
it did, half an hour before.
We bought 3 ponchos for me and the kids, and then it stopped half an hour later.
Well, I've been saying this year has been particularly bad. Yes. Every day is monsooning for hours. But this past weekend, it didn't rain. And I'm hoping we've turned the corner.
As a hurricane knocks on your door.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Well, that's different circumstances.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great trip. Again, I'd say thanks to everyone we bumped into. There's too many to mention. Yes. Our RIP tour group, I do want to give special mention to. So obviously Chris and Alexa and Tracy and Gillian and trying to think now, Chuck and Kyle and Thomas and Lynette and Chris and Rich, our tour guide.
Is that everybody?
Just everyone. We've just spent.
I'm still mad at the people who didn't come and say hello to us, though.
How many hugs and how much love we've had. It's awesome. Yeah. And, it's really brought it home this year. Again, not from a big-headed fame point of view, but when you have people that you bump into that you don't know, listeners who we don't know, that's when it becomes real. Like I bump into people I know who are in the producers club or people I might chat to, but I bumped into so many this time who we didn't know, like David in the Legacy store. He's like, listen to the show, and like I have no idea who he is, and it's just great.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
But I don't see that as that's a listener coming and talk to us. That's a new friend.
Yes.
That's a new member of our family. And that's how I say it. So come and say hello to us, people. That's what we want to say. We want new friends.
And come to the Weekender.
Yes.
You'll really get to know us.
My Instagram's lonely. Come make friends with me.
Yeah, come to the Water Taxi dinner. You might really get to know us.
Yes.
Or Vivo. Come and ask any questions at Vivo.
All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Yeah. So, as always, we will be doing our UUOP listeners' house rankings. So, if you're going, drop us an email with the 10 houses in order from your favorite to least favorite. Send those to podcast@uuopodcast.com. And we're going to wrap up this episode with another Universal Is. This one comes from Nick Costa. And if you would like to get involved wrapping up the podcast, just let us know what you think Universal is in 3 words or less, and send them to podcast@uuopodcast.com or on social media. But for episode 527, Nick says Universal is wicked frickin' pissa. Okay, bye.
That was another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast, the best and only podcast about Universal Orlando on the island. Check us out on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. For all the podcasts, news, and articles, check out our blog at uuopodcast.com. Contact us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. Join the Producers Club by emailing us at uuopproducers@gmail.com. Listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Check out our friends, the Theme Park Duo, for all your other theme park news, and email Michelle at portkeyvacations.net to book your next trip. So until next time, this is Amity 6, Call Off the Marines, we're coming home.